was asked by a subscriber recently if I would go and do a live. Now, this isn't my typical time to go live. It's around 7:51 on Saturday evening, but I thought I'd give it a shot, man. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time maybe, see what's going on. I'll tell you just a little bit about what's happening with me recently. December has been petering down, actually. It's quieting down at the moment. Um, it's getting to that point where the holiday season is kind of on its way and we're almost there. Within a week or so, we got basically some Christmas hitting us. And usually around that time, what happens during Christmas is it typically slows down and people hold on to their uh, calls that aren't necessary and aren't absolutely, you know, David, bro, what's happening, man? I was hoping to bump into some of my old peeps. Dave, I hope you're doing well, man. Um, David is from Kentucky. Kentucky just got hit by a tornado, and David's planning on. You were saying, David, you're planning on going down doing some relief work. I just wanted to pop on a Plumbstream. Glad to see you too, man. Hope you. I'm doing okay, David. I was just explaining that our December is quieting down. That's typical of us usually, actually. But I don't remember if last December, the COVID Decembers, it has quieted down. Thus far, this is the first normal-ish December we've had where it does quiet down, but COVID was a little bit weird these past couple of years. So it's a bit quiet, but I mean, I still got enough work to pop out a couple of days a week. Christopher, what's going on? Oh, Chris! Oh, man! From St. Martin. How are you doing, man? Good to hear you. Good to see you, man. I hope everything's going well down there. Um, Doing well, man. Just hanging in there. We just finished putting up some Christmas lights over here. Uh, Popped off this plum stream a bit late. David, what are your thoughts on the relief? Are you going in the next couple of weeks, or what's the plan? Um, so we're gonna have Christmas and New Year's. We're gonna pop into the different families, but I don't know if protocol is gonna change a little bit because COVID cases are going up here in Toronto, and because of that, a couple of things have changed. I think they changed the capacity for restaurants and all these other things, and they also changed. Uh, I hope that's all. I hope that's all that's gonna be the big differences thus far. But last Christmas, for example, I don't think we were able to have family over or us go to family. It was like very secluded. It was just my wife and I, and at that point, not even a baby, just my wife and I and the dog, and my mother was there, but that's it. Um, so I just wanted to pop on, have a bit of a conversation, reaching out to see what I can do and when. Have family that just went to the hospitals for bad labs, so hope he gets out soon. Oh man, what is bad labs? Maybe it was a typo? Bad labs. Oh man. Either way, I'm sorry to hear that you have family in the hospital. It's never a good thing. Um, yeah, I just want to pop on here, see if we can start a conversation about what's going on with everybody. Uh, how's COVID doing in Kentucky, David? Is everything okay over there, or what's been happening? This is atypical of me to come on so late, man. I promised a fellow named Nathan that I'd pop on and do a live stream, but I didn't really tell him when and where. So hopefully Nathan can pop on and get a couple of... Labs means like his sodium was bad in his blood, so they had to get that straight. Oh, Dave, I'm sorry to hear that. What can throw somebody's sodium off? Just intake it. Bick, what's going on? Every plumbing job requires vax. For that reason, I'm not plumbing anymore. Bick, I'm sorry, dude. Uh, yeah, look, I gotta be honest. I'm super confused about COVID right now. What I mean by that is, I don't know. I saw a Joe Rogan podcast last week, and I listened to it, and if y'all know Joe Rogan in that podcast I'm talking about, it kind of blew a few things out of my head. Like I kind of had some moments. COVID is still trying to hold on. COVID's kicking ass, man. And then I don't know if Omicron, like I hear certain cases of, no, from what some individuals I hear, Omicron is a milder version of COVID, of especially Delta, where the symptoms aren't that bad. It seems to be headaches and whatnot, and nothing hospitalization wise. And then right now we're at 2,000 cases in Toronto, so I have no clue what's going on. But COVID is big. So if you're not getting vaccinated, I guess that's why you're not going in. I assume. Um, yeah, I'm super confused about COVID. It's only gotten worse and worse for me. When I initially got vaccinated, the way the narrative was going was doing it for my family, doing it for my parents, right? And yeah, I went ahead and did that. But ever since I saw that podcast, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some truth to us not having a protocol for treating COVID, but rather thinking that the vaccine is a form of treatment, which in fact it's a form of prevention in theory. But I don't know. I'm all over the place. But Dave, are you double vaxxed? Are you man? What makes somebody's sodium go up? That's a good question right there. Um, yeah. So Christmas is coming up. Got the gifts. Hopefully, we don't have any sort of lockdown protocols for Christmas where we can see as much family as we want. But I think we're really hanging on there by a very, very thin thread. In other words, I think we're just not going to be able to. It's going to be a tough scenario. I don't know what our government's planning to do. Um, yeah. Oh, I get the Fauci ouchie for my family as well. Just wish people would let me. Josh, what's going on? Give me 1 second. I got the Fauci ouchie from my family as well. Just wish people would let me make my own choice and not tell me what I have to do. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure around this vaccine right now. Josh, what's going on? Happy to jump on the live. You're the reason I became a plumber apprentice. Merry Christmas as well. Josh, that's a great honor. I appreciate that. And let me know how it's going. How is the apprenticeship going? Bick is saying, hoping they drop restrictions in Saskatchewan. I don't keep up with the news because it's biased. Yeah, Bick, I think you're right. I think if anything, the news has shown me recently is that I don't know if I can trust the news. The news is coming at it with very strict um, biases and what do you call it, vested interests, and I don't know. It's super uncomfortable, man. It's super uncomfortable right now. Now, there, Playboy Brian just finished the OYAP program, and I was wondering if there are any good opportunities to find myself a plumbing job. Playboy Brian, I think Playboy. I think that's how I need to pronounce it. Brian, I think you just got to give it a shot, man. I'm sure that there are opportunities out there, but like everybody getting into the trade, unless you know somebody getting in, it's going to be a bit of a grind. You just got to keep sending out resumes and just see. Friggin' liberals and Trudeau, oof, Bick. You're going deep on this conversation. The gloves came off already, Bick. We haven't even gotten there yet. But, yeah, dude, I don't know if it's just liberals. I don't know if a Conservative Party would have done much differently. In other words, I don't know. Josh, learning so much. It's super fun. It's crazy how much you can learn when your journeyman lets you be hands-on. Josh, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that you have hands-on work with your journey person because it is tough. All this political talk. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. We got into it right away. So Josh, what are you doing right now? What has your journey person let you do? Sodium was low, age reduces it, frequent urination and not replenishing correctly, Gatorade, etc. makes the levels drop. So was it a hydration issue? So if sodium went down, I guess that's partly a hydration issue as well. Gatorade, you need an electrolyte drink, I guess, David. Hopefully they're well, man. That's the most important from this conversation. I hope they're doing well. Dave, how's your finger, man? Is it fully recovered? Are you like in the thick of it with work, or what's happening with you? So one thing that I've noticed in regards to December when it does quiet down, like it sort of did, the reason why it quiets down is because, yeah, hydration's a major key factor. Yeah, I figured that. The reason why it quiets down, I find, is because people are saving money for the holiday, so they hold on any non-important jobs. But that's the difference. Whenever you do get calls now, especially in quiet seasons, those calls are serious. So we did a couple of serious drain calls last week, man. -3 in Saskatoon tonight. What's it like over there? Oh, Bick, it's a mild like -8, I think, right now, something like that. Nothing too crazy. We're expected to get 10 centimeters of snow, but that ain't gonna touch the Saskatchewan winter, so I ain't complaining. You know what I mean? Uh, Josh, we've done commercial work, PEX and medical gas rough-ins, nice. But now doing tons of service calls, hot water heaters, faucet leaks, replacing stops, toilet fill valves, all that good stuff. Josh, -8. Geez, it's like 60 here. Whoa. Hold on, Josh. Josh, it's 60. You're talking about Fahrenheit. I'm talking about Celsius, I think. David, my finger's just shorter than the other one. Working HVAC and some plumbing. We're installing a bunch of furnaces right now. Awesome to hear, David. I'm glad. Do you fix furnaces? Are you asking me, Bick? Because I don't. But if you're talking to David, it sounds like you're talking to David. Um, Josh, that sounds good, man. You're getting your hands on almost everything. Commercial work is fun. PEX and medical gas. I've never touched medical gas before, so that's really interesting. I imagine that's some fun. Tons of other service calls, hot water heaters, faucets, leaks, replacing stops, toilet fill. Yeah, Josh, just whatever you could get your hands on, but most importantly, facilitate the journey person. Bick is asking Kenny, no fix, just install. David installs, but Bick is asking Kenny about furnaces. No, I don't touch furnaces, Bick. I don't do any of the heating or gas stuff on that side of things. I'm just purely plumbing. Uh, Saskatchewan. Bick, you're saying you're from Saskatchewan, right? I know that in Alberta, gas and plumbing are the same ticket. Is it the same ticket in Saskatchewan as well? How long is your apprenticeship, Bick? I didn't even ask. Yeah, so we got a couple of serious drain calls last week. We put in a drain camera and we found actually a bolt inside this drain that was stopping a lot of toilet paper from going down properly. So the plumber that was there before, he was pulling out one of those rubber plugs for the water closet flange. So he plugs it up, and as he untightens it, it's got that butterfly uh, thread, the butterfly nut or whatever you call it, and he unthreaded it too much and it fell in with the plate. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, Celsius. Yeah, I'm in America. I was very shocked. My journeyman got medical gas license, but we only do that here and there. Drain calls can be easy or an absolute nightmare. Amen to that, Josh. I've done plenty of drain calls in my time. Don't you worry about that. I know exactly what you're talking about. We got So yeah, we had that happen. So what happened with that one, which was a little bit of a pain, was we went one day. So it was a back-to-back water closet. So two toilets, one on each wall, back to back, and then they drain into the drain. We went from one side the one day, and we got called the following day saying, "Hey, it clogged up again." So we're thinking to ourselves, "Man, so something's going on." So we went in with a drain camera and found that bolt, like I was telling you all about. So was a bit of a gong show. Wasn't expecting that. So we got that done and over with, but that contractor was not happy. Let me tell you that right now. Any of you have any interesting calls or interesting plumbing situations occur lately? Let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. Um, I had a situation, but I don't know if I should talk about it, to be honest. Joan, what's going on? Cameras can be a lifesaver. Yeah, David, if I didn't have a camera, honestly, the reason why the camera was super crucial this day in particular was because we didn't know who to charge. So this place was being under renovation, but it was a condo and it was vacant essentially. Only the contractors were using the toilets. So we were sitting back thinking to ourselves, it might not be the contractor's fault. Maybe it's from something from the previous tenant. And the tenant that's currently living there isn't even inside the premises. They haven't moved in yet. So when we brought in the drain camera on the second day and we found that bolt, we now know exactly who we can point our finger to, because it was the contractor's fault. It was the contractor's plumber's fault that this all happened. Bick, Kenny, do you think plumbing wages will go up per hour? $30 an hour for journeyman here, not worth it. You think it's underpaid? Bick, will it go up? I assume so. I mean, I know here in Ontario, or Toronto, a union plumber makes approximately $50. That's that $50 an hour, and that's a licensed journey person. So the union is typically the highest wages you're going to find in plumbing. So, I don't make that. I'm not even close to that. Like, I'm in the $35 range, basically. That's where I'm at. I'm at $35. I might as well tell you straight up. So I make $35 an hour for my dad. I think there are service plumbers that make more than me. I think you're probably going to eventually get a raise. I don't know. It really depends on the market, Vic. I'm sorry, man. I think that's what it's going to come down to. It's what other journey persons are making for the type of plumbing that you're doing. David, hey, quick question, and can you do a quick answer? I did not watch video yet. Why are you a fan of American Standard? I'm not myself. Okay, so David, it's the American Standard Cadet Pro, and I think it's the 3. And the reason why I'm a fan of it is for a couple of reasons. Number one, when they have bolts, the bolts that they provide you actually have a nut on it that's designed to thread onto the flange. I personally, whenever I take off a previous water closet, I always keep the nuts of the previous water closet to secure the next bolts to the flange. That way, when I put the water closet on top of it, you don't ever have a situation where the bolts fall down on you. Because sometimes you have a flange where there's a lot of depth to it, and then you put the water closet on top, and then you got to pick up those bolts. If they fall down, you got to try to start a thread. So that's number one. They already come with that thought through. And the second one is the tank to bowl actually comes with these little clasps that attach the tank to bowl to keep it in place so that it doesn't wobble on you. And then you have a special tool that they actually provide you where you can thread it from underneath. Those are the reasons why, because they make my life a lot easier. And I find that specific toilet itself, it feels like they talk to somebody in the industry essentially and said, okay, how do we make your lives easier? And that's basically it. Josh, my journey person didn't shut off the water all the way, and I was putting in a new PEX shutoff valve in the ceiling of a dental office. As soon as I cut it everywhere, we got it under control though. Josh, whew, that's quick thinking right there. You got to move, right? That really wakes you up in the morning. So I hear you, man. Nobody wants to do it anymore. Wages have to go up. Bick, you're probably right, man, honestly, because it's extremely tough work. Like, it's a necessary skill, it's a necessary trade, so I assume the market's going to adjust to make that happen, Vic. That's where I'm at. I don't think we can get away with not paying our trades well, especially since trades are in demand. You know what I'm saying? Josh is saying, Bick, it's good pay, but it doesn't feel like a job, to be honest, and that's what makes it worth it. Oh, I see. I'm definitely not a fan of American Standard Gerber all the way. Yo, I didn't realize I was going to catch so much flack about the American Standard thing. Joan, any advice you could give me for my journeyman exam, Kenny? Joan, are you writing the CFQ in Canada, or is this a journeyman exam somewhere else? If you can tell me that, I can give you definite. Gerber is a big yes for David. So, Joan, if you can tell me that, I can give you specific advice for the CFQ, which is the exam I had to write for my journey person. But if it's somewhere else, I might have to give you alternate advice, if that makes any sense. First of all, Joan, congratulations. You're in a great spot. Thanks for taking that time to answer my question, Kenny. Gotta go. UFC is on. Go, Bick. Who's fighting? Who you waiting for to fight? And do any of you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Because I'm thinking about trying it. I'm going to get my butt whooped. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so Joan, I don't know about the exam in Atlanta, Georgia. What I would suggest is if you can find previous exams that, like, do they have Derek Lewis is fighting? Okay, cool, cool, cool. If you can find previous exams that they've written or kind of like a mock exam, sometimes you could go online and take a look and they might have examples of plumbing journey person exams that you could just try out and see if that goes well, sort of thing. I would start there. See if you could get your hands on one of those. That might be a good way to start studying so you know which areas to spend time on. David Dillion, Josh is saying to David Dillon, we recommend them to all our customers. They're a little pricey, though. Gerber, I got to be honest, I don't know if I've ever installed a Gerber, fam. Don't kill me for that. Gerber Viper, yes. You know, I got to look this up. I'm writing this down. The Gerber Viper. And David and Josh, why do you guys like the Gerber? I want to know your answer. Gerber Viper. All right. David is saying, concur, Josh, but why install crap part of... David, you talking smack to me or Josh? Beulah! Walker Beulah, what's going on? How you doing? Just got off work. Oh, what a treat with the happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, Beulah. Oh, man, I haven't talked to you in ages, girl. I hope you're doing well. What's going on in Detroit? Yeah, man. How are you? What's your plans for the holidays? Let me know, man. It's great to talk to you. I haven't talked to Beulah in forever, man. Yeah. Who was I talking about? Joan. Yeah. Good luck, Joan. Best of luck, man. All you can do is really. Sometimes, Joan, if you're still there, sometimes the best bet. It was a godsend for me to go into my licensing exam the first time. And the reason why I say that is because the first time really let me know what my weaknesses are. I wrote the exam twice. And I wrote the exam twice because I realized after the first writing I did not study for the exam the appropriate way. I should have spent more times on the mock exams, which we were provided. I spent more time reading a bunch of stuff which was useful to me, but it wasn't exam specific. If you're planning to perform on the exam, get something as close to the exam that you can study off of. What is David saying? I think high quality product, Kenny. Fewer callbacks for clogs. Cool. Cold and working here in Detroit on a shutdown job steel mill. Whoo! Beulah, what's the temperature in Detroit right now? How bad are we talking about? Detroit, I hear, gets mighty cold. Josh goes, oh, another fun call recently. We had a snake in a crawl space and forgot my flashlight. If you live in a cold, if you live in a cold space, you're lucky. You forgot your flashlight in the crawl space, or you forgot to bring your flashlight into the crawl space. Those are two different problems, and one of them I definitely don't understand. If you're going into the crawl space and you forget your flashlight, aren't you going to run out right away and go get it? Or, we had a snake and forgot your flashlight. 38 degrees, man, I do not know my conversion to Celsius. So that sounds cold. I think 40 degrees Fahrenheit is that 32? I apologize. 32 degrees Fahrenheit, right, Beulah? Because 32 here is warm, boy. Really warm. Beulah, do you have to be vaccinated for your job sites? Just out of curiosity. We were talking about at the beginning if the vaccine is absolutely mandatory. There are certain people on this chat already that aren't working because the vaccine is mandatory, so they decided to opt out of the vaccine. Ugh. So I think for construction workers here on job sites, you have to be vaccinated for like union plumbers, for example. With my dad and I, we are. Oh, you do? Okay. Beulah says yes. So my dad and I are vaccinated, but that was our own decision. And the job sites that we go to, they don't typically ask for vaccination details. I thought the flashlight was already set up deeper in the crawl space, big crawl space. But my journeyman grabbed it without telling me. Never crawled faster in my life. Josh, that's terrifying, man. I'm glad you got out safely and soundly, man. Beulah, when you say you're off for the rest of the holiday or you're off today? You worked on a Saturday. I hope you're getting paid overtime. Goodness me. Not yet, starting January 4th, 2022, but I'm vaccinated. Yeah, me too. I'm vaccinated as well. Are you guys dealing with boosters already in Detroit, or where's that at? Beulah, is that your company requiring or a customer requiring? David's asking Beulah if your customer requires the vaccination or your company requires the vaccination. That's a good question. David was, I guess, David, would you say you were pressured into a vaccine if everybody was asking you? Yes, OT. Um, I don't know what OT stands for. Is that the Union Hall? Uh, yeah, so I have never, the only time I had to produce my vaccine papers are when I went to a restaurant. Both. Thank you. Thank you, Beulah. Sorry. My bad. So you're going to get some time off January 4th in the new year. Good for you, Beulah. What's the game plan? You're going to go on vacation? You're going to do a staycation? You're going to just chill? No one cares about if we have the vaccine down here in South Carolina, but I got it when I worked in the hospital overtime. Good. Oh, overtime, Beulah. I'm out of it, man. I'm out of it. Sorry, it's late. Felt pressure, yes, but straw that broke the camel's back was for my family. David, that's exactly the same way I felt. I strictly and solely got the vaccine for my family because the scariest idea for me was handing off COVID to somebody that I cared for. That was what I was really, really worried about. Sleep, yeah, we're gonna need sleep soon, Beulah. Trust me, trust me. I just wanted to pop on here. I think the individual was Nathan who asked me about if I would do a live stream, and I said yes to him and that I would do it today. And I don't think Nathan's even popped on yet, so we'll see. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, a little bit more time, but. Yeah, man, I just want to wish you all happy holidays. What time is up there in your neck of the woods? Right now, it's like 8 p.m. It's a little bit later than 8 p.m. It's probably 8 p.m. right now. But I normally it's 8:20 there. Oh, interesting. I think we're around the same time period then, Josh. So you're in did you say South Carolina or North Carolina? You're in South Carolina, Josh. Is it warm in South Carolina? I think you were saying it was. 8:20 p.m. there. Sorry, political here, but we can really call it a vaccine. We can call it a vaccine since it does not cure the illness. Hold on. Let me read that again. Sorry, political here, but we can really call it a vaccine since it does not cure the illness. Ryan, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you learned a lot from my video. Thanks for watching it. David, can you clarify that? But can we really call it a vaccine since it does not cure the illness? David, I don't think vaccines are supposed to cure the illness. I think they're supposed to prepare our bodies for the illness, in other words, if I read that correctly. Good night, brother and sisters. I'm cold and tired. Peace, Beulah. Have a good night. Good to talk to you. Happy holidays if I don't talk to you. South Carolina, yep, it's very mild weather here. Not much colder than 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, Josh, I am a bit envious about you right now and you wearing shorts and t-shirts on your days to work and days back from work. So good for you. I'm glad to hear that. I could use some nice weather right now. David Dillon, yes, it prevents severe illness. Less people die when vaccinated, but doesn't mean you won't get sick or transmit it. Move down here, Kenny. Josh, don't tempt me, all right? I was shoveling snow today, so don't even go there, okay? Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, this is where the conversation about COVID gets a little bit strange because For the majority of people, it's supposed to... Oh, Matthew. Hi, Matthew. Matthew, you were asking about a live stream recently. All is well on my end. How are you? How you doing? What's going on? Gotcha, Josh. My bad. David, I'm not so sure. So I've heard similar things where it's supposed to provide for the majority of us an ability to not have such a severe reaction to COVID. However, there are people that still have a severe reaction to COVID, even with the vaccines. And now, apparently, there's data, or there's always been data, of people having severe reactions to the vaccine itself. Listen, I'm just telling you what I heard. I don't have the data in front of me. Joan, thank you for your response, Kenny. What do I do next after I get my license? Since I'm already in a good position, I'm working for a company as a supervisor and sub at the same time making good money already. Joan, the very first thing that you do when you get licensed is you celebrate. That's the game plan. You celebrate because you worked your butt off and you did it. You decided upon a goal, you chased it, and you got it. That's what you do. You celebrate, and after you celebrate, I would say give yourself a little bit of time just to digest it. Whether that's a week or a month, I would sit down and think about your options. Is there a way to make more money than what? Oh, well, then what I'm making, and should I get the master's next? Joan, I know for us here in Ontario, if you get licensed, that means you are able to ask for more money, essentially. It's supposed to give you the maximum the wage you're planning on it. You're able to get. That's the strength of the license. The second thing is that maybe it's time to look at a company that can give you more money, or maybe it's time to go on your own. Like there are a couple of options there, Joan. What was the last of it? And in regards to your master's license, I don't think there's ever a wrong time to get your master's license. I think if you're up for the challenge, you should go for it. Most of us would be fine without it, and I think you mean the vaccine. But older people or obese people tend to get it bad, and you're talking about COVID, I think. Those are the people I saw dying in the intensive care units when I worked there. Josh, you were working in the intensive care units? Holy smokes. David is talking to Joan. You come on here and brag, and we all share a beer with you over the net. Yes, Joan, exactly what David said. We're going to celebrate. You understand? We're going to celebrate first, and then we're going to talk about options. Exactly. David, I'm right there with you. You celebrate first because you did something hard, you hit a milestone, and you knocked that ball out of the park, okay? That's the first step in regards to your future. Celebration. Because if you just go straight into another test, let me tell you, that's not a lot of time to enjoy the journey that you're on. Josh, the word that I've been hearing a lot in the conversations I've been hearing is comorbidities. People with comorbidities tend to have a much harder time with COVID. And I think that could also be said. They probably have a harder time with whatever other illness they might catch just because they already have a comorbidity. So the body is already in a fighting stance. It's fighting something. And then this will just be an additional kind of like tag team to whatever they're already fighting. So it's hard. Yeah, I don't know, man. Vaccines and all that conversation, I got to be honest, I'm not opposed to the conversation. I'm just fed up with how long this has taken. Yes, definitely. Asthma, COPD, heart conditions, cancers, all of it. Yeah, exactly. I'm just, man, I've gotten to that point where I'm fed up with conversations about COVID. And I know it's not going away, and I'm not giving up on the conversation. I'm just saying, man, I would have never thought we'd be running into year 3 of this thing. And I don't know. Here's the question, man. I'm just ready to live a normal life. Amen. Amen, Josh. That's exactly where I'm at. I'm ready to walk into, man, I'm ready to get rid of masks. I wear masks every day of my career, as probably the majority of you do. I haven't walked into a building without a mask on in 3 years. Can you imagine that? Like, that's such a different life. And Have you ever accidentally walked into a place without a mask off? Have you ever done that? My wife walked into a Subway and I heard her scream because she realized she didn't have her mask on and she had to run back to the car and grab it. And I was like, I don't know where I was. I was zoned out. It's such a weird place. It's such a weird time. You know what else is really trippy about the vaccine is whenever I see a picture from a while ago before COVID and I see like myself in a stadium full of people because I went to a Jays game, my anxiety goes up when I see pictures like that because I'm like going, dude, what are you doing? That's disgusting. You're gonna catch something. You're gonna give something to people, and I'm like, dude, that shouldn't be my reaction, man. I'm so adverse to crowds now. It's like changed the game for me. Thanks for letting me rant, peeps. I appreciate that. What were we talking about? We're talking about comorbidities, I'm pretty sure. Joan, yes, I will be celebrating with all the plumbers I know that were part of my journey and also the ones I don't know either in person like Kenny. Joan, good. I'm glad we got your priorities set and straight. Now, go kick that exam's butt. Josh is saying, let's eat food, do fun stuff, grow, and enjoy life. I'm happy we got to stop wearing masks. It's so weird you can't see people's smiles or emotions. Yeah, it is kind of weird. I ain't gonna say anything about that. That's the truth. Joan, I'm glad we got those priorities. Ready to live a normal life? Yeah, I'm there. By the way, peeps, I got a video coming out tomorrow. Ryan W. I walked buildings in downtown Toronto without a mask. No one stops me. I feel sorry because most of the time I was too focused on getting to the job site. So, Ryan, you were just walking into places without a mask and people were like giving you the eye and you didn't notice? That's funny, dude. I think I've almost walked into one place without a mask on. But that was one time. Yeah, the anxiety's real on my front, man. I don't know. Ryan, you're from Toronto? Well, good to talk to you, my man. Which video were you saying helped you, Ryan? I'm curious. Josh is saying, I felt anxiety when we stopped wearing them down here. I hope you guys can stop wearing them too. It seems like a social pressure thing and a political thing right now. Yeah, Josh, I don't know. What? Bro, who's giving me money, man? Yo, I didn't even know somebody who. Oh, dude, did I lose you? David! Because you're awesome, bro. David, I appreciate you, bro. You're always doing that. Much love, man. Honestly, much love. I appreciate you, man. You're too kind. You're too kind. The one about getting a license and others too. David, stop doing that, man. I get you a gift or something, man. That's the game plan. The one about getting a license. So, Ryan, are you getting licensed? What's your plan, dude? Just because you're awesome. David, you're awesome, dude. I appreciate you, man. Josh, I don't know if we're ever going to stop wearing masks the way this is going, man. I always thought, and this might have been a crazy idea, I always thought the whole point of the vaccine was so that we could stop wearing masks. I mean, you're as protected as you can be with a vaccine. That's what I thought. But apparently, that's not the way it goes. So, what the heck's going to protect me? And, yo, I got to be honest, bro, who's handing out more money? Josh, bro. Guys, you guys are too kind, man. David gave you a free meal, and now you can get a drink too, man. Josh, I appreciate you. David and Josh, guys, thank you. That's really sweet of you. Kenny, that is my real fear, that we will forever wear masks. David, bro, I don't know. First of all, David and Josh, thank you, man. You guys are too sweet. Thank you. I appreciate you. And David, I don't understand the mask thing. I do it because I don't want to stress people out, right? Like, that's why I do it. But at some point, we're going to have to test our immunities. Like, I just feel like it's inevitable. At some point, we're just going to have to walk into places and test our immunity. Like, I don't want that to be the case. Like, that worries me. I don't know how I'm going to do. But what else, man? If the vaccine's not going to do it for us, then why am I keep taking vaccines? I just don't get it. It's weird. It's just such a weird conversation. Josh is saying we could stop wearing them with the vaccine, but in other places they still enforce it like crazy. Yeah, Josh, we enforce it here in Toronto like crazy. Uh, Ryan's getting ready to do the licensing exam. I have a friend here working without a license for years, but he only takes cash jobs. I don't think that's a good idea in a long term. Ryan, there are a lot of plumbers in Toronto and everywhere that are wizards at the work, but they're not licensed. The only difference is that the license allows you to compete for top dollar. But there are plenty of unlicensed plumbers out there that know everything, that know their job really well and are really good. They just they don't excel at school, you know what I mean? So they stay away from it. And they also make a decent living. Like I wouldn't I I I imagine there are unlicensed plumbers out there making as much as licensed plumbers. If you're that good, you're that good. You know what I'm saying? The license will restrict you in certain instances. For example, if you work for condos here in Toronto, they don't allow unlicensed contractors for the most part, from what I know. You know what I'm saying? Every time we work in a condo, they expect us to produce our license and also our WSIB, which is our insurance. So there are restrictions if you don't have a license. Let me keep going. I don't wear them just to stress people out, but it's the kind of guy. So David doesn't wear his mask so he can stress people out. David, you're kicking up some dust there, eh? You're just stressing people out. Where's the option to support Kenny with money for this channel? Joan, I appreciate you even thinking about it. David is saying, Joan, that little dollar sign at the bottom of the chat screen. I don't even know. David, where are you from? Canada or America? David is from Kentucky, Josh. And I don't know what the rules are in Kentucky, but David got. Have you ever done 2-inch PEX or Wurzbo piping? No, not that big. Salu 856. Sorry, I can't help you with that question. The maximum I've done, I think it's been 1 inch. And my dad was really irritated because he had to go out and get a 1-inch crimper for that Prex. So he's only used that crimper like twice in his entire career. So he bought it for this one specific job. No, I haven't. Sorry, friend. 2-inch PEX. Does 2-inch PEX come in PEX B? Is there a handle big enough to be able to compress that ring? Like I could see the 2-inch working on Wurzbo or Upanor or whatever they're calling it nowadays. But no, I haven't. Sorry, friend. Yeah, I don't know what's up with masks, man. Like I said, I do it not to stress people out, but what's the point of the vaccine if I have to wear a mask? Hey, not too far away, Kentucky is probably even more lax about this stuff than South Carolina. Do you guys mainly use 3/4 or half-inch PEX up there too, Kenny? Josh, it depends on what's going on. So a lot of times in houses, you'll have a 3/4 inch domestic water line coming into the house. So what you'll do is you normally take that from where it comes in from the meter and you run that to the hot water tank. And then afterwards, you can downsize to half-inch for the rest of the house. In some places, it's 1 inch. Now, new subdivisions that are being built, Matthew, give me a sec. In new subdivisions that are being built, you got 1-inch PEX or you have a soft copper line coming in. So we do both typically, Josh. I've used both quite a bit. David is saying, Josh, Strickland, Kentucky, we're pretty relaxed here, except for some exceptions, mostly company guidance, but you can still see the fear in some eyes. Matthew is saying, I'm finding myself going through different jobs throughout the pandemic and nothing clicking. I still don't know if plumbing is something I should do, thinking of it in terms of the money. So Matthew, what are you working on? What are these jobs that you're talking about? Are you talking about in plumbing you're looking at these jobs? Or are you talking about outside of plumbing? I'm just curious. Josh is saying, that makes sense. That's what we do too, 3/4 supply and then half-inch for the rest of the house. Yeah, Josh, same here. But I don't know if I could do it on a regular basis. I've watched all your videos, but I don't know if it's clicking or not. But I am getting older. More just ranting. Okay, gotcha, Matthew. Do what you got to do. Where are you at, Matthew? Josh is asking. Are you guys seeing a material shortage in cast iron and copper? Yes. Salu 856, we are. So we had a cast iron job that we had to do probably 1 or 2 months ago. And my dad turns to me and goes, I can't find pipe at our regular supplier. Like, they don't have enough. And then he had a hard time getting fittings. So Matthew's in Toronto. I didn't know that. And then we had a hard time getting fittings. So we actually had to go to one supplier for the pipe and the other supplier for the fittings. It was really, really tough. The copper you were asking, though, I don't think we have a hard time with copper thus far. Knock on wood. But yeah, definitely. Are you guys noticing the same thing? Salu 856? Josh Strickland and Kenny, I thought you could only put 3 fixtures on a ½ inch. David, no. I think it depends on the fixture, especially. Like, for example, I don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it depends on the amount of pressure coming into the house. Like, for example, you could have a ½ inch line, but it depends on the pressure that the city is supplying. That's number one. And number two, I think it depends on the fixture. Like, for example, you have for a urinal, you need a 1 inch line for a urinal, right? Like, that fixture in and of itself requires its own pressure. So, David, I don't know. I'm not sure where that came from. Maybe it is for you. Who knows? Jonah's saying, I think you could supply up to 6 fixtures, but you have to pay attention to the loss of friction. Ah, interesting. Josh is saying, I'm new to this stuff, but all the fixtures in the house are hooked up to the ½ inch from what I've seen so far. Yeah, Josh, we do a lot of fixtures. So, for example, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 fixtures in my house that are hooked up to ½ inch, and the pressure's okay. Sulu 856. Yes, I'm trying to get some Type K in the GTA. Oh man, I don't even know if I don't normally buy Type K Sulu 856. So that I got to say that right off the bat. Are you putting in underground piping? Is that why you're using Type K? Matthew McKay is saying, this is sort of offhand, but I sort of feel like my height restricts me from getting ahead in certain workforces. I'm thinking that if I could do plumbing, I would have more opportunities for success. I'm depressed though, so I don't know if I'm thinking straight. Matthew, it has nothing to do with height, it has to do with problem solving ability. There are going to be very tall people doing plumbing. There are going to be very short people doing plumbing. It really depends on how they know to navigate their bodies, first of all, and their limitations, but also how they problem solve. It's what tools they bring to the job, including the one between their ears. You know what I'm saying? So I would pay more attention to that. That's more important, Matthew, than your height. I promise you that. Which suppliers do you use? Salu 856. Next, Noble, Barden, Desco. Who else? I use Noble and Desco. We've gone to Wolseley a couple of times for certain things, but for the most part, those two. Josh is saying, Matthew, it's super fun if you get in with a small company with good people. Pay is good enough to support a family. It won't click till you give it at least a couple of months on the job. Josh, I would say for me, it took even longer than a couple of months for it to click. But yeah, that's why I got into the career myself, because I wanted to provide for my family. That was the game plan, you know what I'm saying? Josh is saying happiness comes from having meaning and responsibility. Jobs aren't just paying for bills. Jobs aren't just for paying bills. I do think there's a lot to be said about meaning and responsibility, for sure, in regards to happiness. But what we have to remember is mental health is a spectrum. So there are certain people out there that are clinically depressed. Nothing. There's nothing that they can have in their life that can help them in regards to happiness, or in regards to having a stable mindset, a stable emotional mindset, in other words. So it depends. Maybe for your average person who feels annual depression or a certain seasonal depression, maybe meaning will help. And I think meaning helps a lot of people, maybe probably the majority of people, but it really depends on how that depression manifests, where the source comes from, because chemical imbalances, etc., those sorts of things cannot be handled without clinical help, without some sort of medical intervention in some aspects. So it's a little bit more nuanced than that, I would say. But Josh, I do think for a lot of people, what you said is accurate. David is saying, Josh Strickland, here in Kentucky, we run 3/4 as main feeders, but then run half for bathrooms, 3 fixtures max, or to whatever room. Interesting, David. Thanks for letting me know. That's really interesting. Jones says, I work for a company, did remodeling all the time, and their plumbers didn't know how to size the water lines properly, so the plumbers supply everything with 1/2 inch, so we got calls all the time. That's really interesting. So the only time we've ever had to run more than 3/4 was if we were dealing with, for example, if you have a very large bungalow, one of those really long bungalows, like there are these beautiful long houses. Normally, what they suggest to do is to put a recirculation pump on the hot water because it takes so much time for the hot water to get to the fixture that especially is the furthest away from it, sort of thing. Um, I think in those circumstances you might be able to justify running 3/4, but for the most part, houses that aren't that size, we run 1/2 inch from the hot water tank onwards. But we run 3/4 to the hot water tank for the cold inlet. I hope that makes sense. Josh is saying, I'll also say cold weather makes me depressed. My wife too. That's why we moved somewhere warm. Family relationships and having a relationship with Jesus made a huge difference in my happiness too. Josh, that sounds like a wonderful game plan that you guys came up with, and I'm glad it's working for you. That's lovely. David Dillian, Josh is asking, do you switch back to 3/4 for anything over 3 fixtures? Yeah, David, would you just run 3/4 for the entire house if it was a 7 fixture house like my house is? Let me double check that. So, no, I got more than 7. So I got 3 there, 2 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. I have around 8 fixtures, and it's all run by 1/2 inch. Where should you start if you do want to get into plumbing? Would you recommend the pre-apprenticeship programs or just start cold calling companies? Matthew, the cheapest way to go about it is to cold call companies. Try to get your foot in the door. You can skip the pre-apprenticeship program and go straight into your apprenticeship if a company hires you and can sign you up as an apprentice. That's what you have to know. Before there was a such thing as a pre-apprenticeship program, that's how people used to do it. They used to get hired on with a company, they used to get signed up as an apprentice, and they used to go into their apprenticeship whenever they got signed up for that company. Okay? I would start there. Start cold calling, and then subsequently, if you don't find that you're getting work, then start thinking about the pre-apprenticeship program. Um, Matthew is also asking, especially during COVID, but I'm hating this online learning format, which is kind of discouraging me from going back to school, at least for the last 3 years. Matthew, unfortunately, the online thing might be here to stay, especially with COVID still being such a integral part to our lives right now. So it might be something that you have to continuously work with. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you can, what's the word? Write a different narrative for this in your head. Sit down and find some good things about doing online learning that are a benefit for you and try to look at it through that lens. But don't be discouraged. Everybody has to go through it, Matthew. So Josh is saying to Matthew, I straight up called the plumber I used one time and he called me back, talked for a bit, and hired me. 9 guys, including me, in my company. I quit online school because it drove me crazy. Yeah, maybe there's something to be said about tradespeople doing online being rough for them. David is asking Josh, okay, we already saying to Josh, okay, we run 3/4 through the house, usually to the sill. Then off of that, we run 1/2 inch into the rooms. If more than 3 fixtures, we tee off the 3/4 twice. I see. So, in other words, the way you're describing it to me is you'll run 3/4 to the bathroom group, to the washroom with 3 fixtures, and there you will downsize to 1/2 inch and distribute. And then you will have constant tees that are 3/4, 3/4 by half to whatever other fixtures you need, especially if it's more than 3 fixtures. That's the way I understood that. I hope I got that right. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Peeps, I'm going to call this Sophia. Hi, Kenny. My boyfriend is a plumber and we love your videos. Sophia, thank you and thank your boyfriend. That's quite a really sweet story. Thank you. I appreciate all the support. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. That's awesome. Thanks for popping on and just letting me know that. That's really nice. Peeps, I'm going to do 4 more minutes and I got to get out of here. I'm totally, what's the word? Bushed. Tuckered. Is that the right word? Tuckered. I'm tired, man. I'm feeling it. Gonna have dinner. Yeah. Sophia, happy holidays, Sophia. Send my love to your boyfriend as well. That's so sweet. Thank you, guys. Thank you for supporting. I really, really appreciate it. The artist formerly known as Jesse Say What? Happy holidays, Jesse Say What? Or formerly known as Jesse Say What? I love that name. Oh, man. Josh Strickland, Kenny, so happy I got to hop on this live chat for a bit. I'm tuckered too. Time to get ready for bed. I appreciate all your time, Josh. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everybody. Thank you for doing the Plumbstream today, Kenny. Happy holidays. Happy holidays, Matthew. Matthew, hang in there. I know it's tough right now. If you need to talk to somebody about what you're struggling with, make sure to reach out. If you need help finding people, make sure to reach out. Reach out to me, okay? And maybe I can hook you up with, or I can set you up with a couple of websites where you could find somebody to talk to if you're dealing with depression that's really bogging you down, okay? That's number one. Number two, take it a day at a time. It gets easier. But look, conversations with people that really can listen is the most important, Matthew. So I hope you really do try to work on your mental health. Find things that make you feel better, which include exercise, which include eating well, eating foods that aren't going to make your body tired from eating them. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, foods that can, by eating foods that are easier to break down, your brain has more firepower, and that firepower can probably go towards finding better things to think about or a healthier way to think about things. So, Matthew, best of luck with that. Reach out if you need a hand, okay? Please do, okay? David, happy holidays, my man. Best of luck with your family that's not feeling well. Send my love that way. Let me know how it goes in regards to helping people out with a tornado. And if not, most importantly, happy holidays, okay? Joan, Feliz Navidad. Ryan Owens, Kenny Ware, been here the whole time. Just want to say hi. Ryan, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you saying hi. Happy holidays, Owens. Maybe we'll bump into each other soon or yeah, let's hope the restrictions don't change and we can hang out for sure. Beeps, I'm going to pop off in about 1 minute. Pop off is that a derogatory term? What's that? Anyways, I'm going to get out of here in about 1 minute. Just want to send my love to you all. Thanks for hanging out. Josh and David, thank you for the $30 cumulative. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Ryan Owens, for sure, my man. Much love. Be well, guys and gals, everybody that was here. Talk to you soon. And be safe. Most importantly, be safe. And hopefully we'll do this soon. Much love, guys. Ciao.